maybe you shouldn't do that with one of the better players in the game. I guess what were you thinking?
I don't care. He's old.
That the Grizzlies do not intend to re-sign Dillon Brooks in free agency. So this is according to his league sources.
We'll take you in Detroit, dog.
By The Athletic, Jalen. And Brooks struggled offensively right in the playoffs, created distractions, called out LeBron James during Memphis's first-round series. So Kendrick Perkins, you've been a big supporter of the Grizzlies. Where do you stand on their move to not bring back Dillon Brooks?
Well, I mean, I expected them not to, but again, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And I don't think it's funny, to be honest, on how the Grizzlies are handling this situation for us Dillon Brooks. It's one thing for us to clown and joke about him throughout the course of the series, but when you come back and you say that you're not going to bring him back throughout, no matter the circumstances, like zero chances. Like, this guy is up for a contract. This guy spent 6 years in your organization, and a couple of those years, he was actually great for you. So at the end of the day, my thing is, when it comes down to affecting the livelihood, and it's also a reflection of your organization, this is not the way you want to be trending. If you're trying to be eye candy and attract guys to come in and play alongside Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant, you don't want them to feel like, oh, this is how they did Dillon Brooks, because that's how I would look at it. And it's just very disturbing to me that they would handle this situation like this. If they didn't want to sign them, so what? Don't sign them. But you don't have to put it out there like that, like he committed a damn crime or something, or some off-the-court distractions, because he was none of that. And the kid played with heart and passion every single night. No matter what he shot from the field, he bought his game every single night when it came down to competing between those lines.
Yeah, of course, the Grizzlies have said they're going to take a new approach to trash talking this season, but it's an interesting conundrum for them, because essentially this is what got them there, right? That kind of vibrato, the way that they've gone about things, it's what got them here. But now it's sort of time that they're looking, okay, what pieces of this can we keep to push us forward, and what part of this identity do we need to shed in order to get to our ultimate goal?
Looks like we've seen the last of Dillon Brooks in a Grizzlies uniform. Shams reporting for The Athletic.
What's he reporting, Wilds?
That he will not be brought back under any circumstances.
Any circumstances?
Just seems like an aggressive report, Shams.
Any circumstance.
So the question here is this. I'll ask you, Nick. Do you think he's not coming back because of his decreased production on the court, or, and this is the journalistic term, all the other stuff?
Yes.
Both?
All the above. It's all the above. This is the perfect storm to lose your job. Your performance dips.
Yep.
You become a pain or a distraction or whatever. And here's the key part, they need a fall guy.
Oh.
So
I like that.
Dillon Brooks is not blameless in this, obviously. And I do think the final straws were the comments about LeBron and then the terrible play. But I also think for the Grizzlies, they have problems far greater than Dillon Brooks. But those problems are hard to deal with and hard to address. And the Dragonfly Jones pointed this out on Twitter, so credit to him, that Jimmy Johnson once upon a time told a story about talking to, I think, Troy Aikman about playmaker, about Michael Irvin, and about how off the field it was getting rough. And Aikman asked him, he's like, so are you going to cut him? He's like, no. He's like, but his best friend, our way back up tight end, he's gone.
Right.
And it was a level of, I've got to send a message somehow, but this guy is untouchable. So I don't blame, this isn't all on Dillon Brooks. He did do it to himself, but it is also not all on him. And I think, Brew, the under any circumstances line is really a shot across the bow, more than that kneecaps his negotiating position for any team in the league as far as trying to get a contract, a real contract. So I think it's brutal for him. Brutal.
I agree with a lot of what you said, although I don't think, like, they needed a fall guy. Because they have excuses. Ja got hurt. I know he came back and played, but still, he was hurt. Steven Adams wasn't there against the Lakers where they could have used some real size. Adams is out. Brandon Clark is out.
I'm talking about their cultural issues.
No, right. But I'm just saying they have excuses for losing the series. But you're right. I think they're trying to change the culture. And he's the guy. And look, good riddance. All right, bye, Dillon Brooks. So you said he's not. If you're going to talk trash like he did, you better be able to ball like Metta World Peace or Dennis Rodman. Seriously, if you're going to talk that type of trash, he needs to ratchet it down. I get it. This is who he is. But he's getting to the Patrick Beverly stage. Beverly now at 34. Beverly years ago was about, he was a good, usable player. Now he's gotten to the point where all that stuff is he's not worth it anymore, I think. That's where Dillon Brooks is getting. The difference is Beverly's 34, Brooks is 27. Brooks needs to come down and be more like a Matt Barnes, where you talk, you're tough, you don't back down, you take up any challenge, but you don't start stuff. Like Matt Barnes would just respond. If you call him out, I'm tough, I'll play with him. And that's what Brooks has to do. Don't start stuff.
So your issue is that he could have had a bunch of milquetoast quotes on, it's great to play LeBron. They've really been great since the trade deadline. We hope to give it our best. You would be okay with that. But it's the fact that he kind of started it.
He went way overboard, calling him old. I poke bears. You're not, until you drop 40 on me.
You can't say it would be a better challenge and then get your ass kicked. You can't say.
And you play so poorly. He's a big reason.
Yeah.
All those open. He hurt him strategically because they were backing off of him to help stop drop from getting in the lane.
I'm going to defend Dillon Brooks.
Okay.
Dillon Brooks' creative comments, let's say, was a gift to the entire league. The ratings on that series were high because of Dillon Brooks.
Okay.
Shows like this benefited from Dillon Brooks. All of NBA media and fans liked it. I liked it
for
all.
a hot minute.
And now everyone's mad at him.
No.
But at the same time, if he gave out a bunch of nothing quotes, we're trying our best, and if he was like buddy with LeBron after every game, I wish there was a little bit more toughness, if there's a little more animosity.
Can there be a happy medium?
But this guy delivered for the league.
He did. Well, then maybe the league should hire him, or maybe we should. I agree with you that he was good for everyone involved, except for the people paying him, which is why they don't want to pay him anymore.
Sacrifice
for
the league.
The Grizzlies didn't want to make it.
League.
Yeah.
Yes. Just tone it down a little. You still be yourself. Yeah. Tone it down just a little and work on your
be better.
shot.
That's right.
Work on your jump
It
shot.
all would have worked if he played better.
He played decent defense.
No.
Decent defense, but he's missed so many open threes. It just
he missed a lot. He should have stopped taking the open threes.
LeBron
also,
had the game-winning shot on him in the next game.
LeBron had averaged 22 points. Was he awesome?